Hey there, Brian Hood here from the sixfigurehomestudio.com. I have noticed a trend on YouTube, and that trend is there are more than enough tutorials for mixing. There are more than enough tutorials for gear, plugins, VSTs, insert thing here that you want to see about. There are tons of guides out there about that, but I see relatively few to no guides on tools for your studio that will actually give you an ROI, a return on your investment. So in this video, I want to break down 11 of my favorite tools that I use in my own studio business to increase either my efficiency, which leads to more income, or directly increases my income for my studio. So this is gear or tools or software that will give you an ROI or a return on investment for your money. And also, this is going to be what I consider an advice buffet. You can just take one of these 11 or a few of these 11 tools and implement it into your business, but don't feel like you have to take all of these. But this is going to be kind of a good overarching view on some really good tools that you can start implementing into your studio to help improve your business. And by the way, if you struggle with the business of running your studio, feel free to hit that subscribe button under this video because I'm going to be posting a lot more stuff like this in the future. So the first thing on my list of tools with an ROI attached to it, tools that will help you make more money for your studio, it's something called BetterProposals. This is a proposal software that I've been using for about a year and a half now, and this thing is amazing. I don't have time to go super deep into this, so you're just gonna have to bear with me as I breeze through this. The gist of it is this. I want you to imagine that a band asks for pricing from you for a project, right? And you tell them, hey, it's gonna be $5,000, and it includes this, it doesn't include this, let me know if you're interested, and you just send that off in an email. That's what I did for the most of my career, and that's what I call the white trash proposal method. This is what I call the high class proposal method, and again, I don't have time to go into this, but this is what they see whenever they go into the proposal now. This is, there's a little introduction area here, which kind of prepares them emotionally for what they're about to read. I try to put, some emotion behind it. You put your heart and soul in the music. Don't let your mix break it because I do mixing and mastering. You've worked hard on your music. You want it to be heard and appreciated by both current and future fans. Once you release those songs, they're out there forever. This is what they see on the first page. This is just the introduction, right? This is just the introduction. Then they get a breakdown of what's included with what I offer them. They get a breakdown of what's not included in what I offer them, the process and time scale, step 1, step 2, step 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the time scale, how long should this take? I give them a little bit about me. Meet Brian, he's not the most terrible human in the world. 9 years professional experience. I'm here to make you sound good, that's it. Talk about the pricing, it's all there. Once they agree to all the terms and conditions, the non-refundable deposit, the scheduling, no hidden fees, that kind of stuff. Once they get through that, all they have to do is type their name to sign, and this is the cool part. They can pay the deposit through this software. So this is something called BetterProposals. If you like this template, I have actually set up an affiliate link through them to where, first of all, there's a free trial for the software if you just want to try it out. It doesn't require a credit card or anything, but you can go to betterproposals.studio and you can sign up for a free account. And you can get this template that I just showed you loaded into your account where you can change out photos or you can change words around, but you have the good skeleton there to start with. But BetterProposals, this is a great way to stand out from your competitors who are not doing something like this. I think this is going to be the standard for the future of recording studios. Everyone's going to start expecting to see this kind of stuff from studios. One other cool thing about this software is you get an email notification as soon as anyone opens this email, whether it happens immediately or a month down the road, or they reopen it 6 months down the road. This is a great time. You can see when they've opened it, how long they spent on each page. This is a great way to find, first of all, if they're serious about it, if they're reading each page in detail, or if they're just skimming straight to the price and then leaving. Or you can, this is a great reason for you to email them. So let's just say 6 months down the road, they kind of fell off the map. You're trying to get the project and they open the email 6 months from now, right? Or the proposal 6 months from now. Now, you can just email them and say, hey, I was thinking of you the other day. How is this project coming along? That kind of stuff. You can just show up, stay top of mind. This is a really cool way to stay top of mind. Next on my list is something called Stripe. This is the URL is stripe.com. This is a payment processor. Now, this is a really boring tool, but if you want to use something like BetterProposals or really any other payment platform other than PayPal, and you want to start accepting payments, you have to have something like Stripe to integrate with it in order to take credit card payments. Now, BetterProposals and a number of other things out there will definitely integrate with Stripe because this is basically the industry standard. This is what you want to sign up for if you want to start taking credit card payments. And it's super easy to set up, really easy to use, and it will deposit the money straight into your bank account as soon as you get it, instead of like PayPal where it holds it in this limbo state. I personally use PayPal and Stripe, but this is something that you will definitely want to implement into your business if you want to start taking payments through these other apps that I'm going to talk about today. Number 3 on my list today is something called Google Voice. This is, you can get it by going to voice.google.com, but this is a tool that is really cool if you have a separate phone, if you want a separate phone number for your business. So if you have a recording studio and you want to have a separate phone number on your same mobile device, you don't have to have 2 phones, you just have 1 phone, 2 numbers. Google Voice is 100% free, easy to sign up for, and as long as you have a Gmail account, you can sign up for it. This allows you to both accept calls and texts on a separate number in the Google Voice app, and keep that completely separate from your personal life. And there are a couple reasons this is cool. The first and foremost is not having to give your personal number out to your clients so they're not bothering you. You can set up like a do not disturb time for your business phone, but not for your personal phone, and allows you to separate your personal life from your business, which is something that I highly encourage for any recording studio owner. The second cool thing about it is you can have separate voicemails for your personal phone and your business phone. That way you're not intermingling the two. It's really weird when I call like a friend's phone and they have like a business voicemail, or when I call a business phone and it's like a personal voicemail. It's just not very professional. So sign up for this. It's free, and there's really no reason for you not to use it if you want to have separate numbers for your business. Also, if you look down here at the bottom of the screen, this is available for Android, iOS, and a web app. This will also tie into some other tools that I mentioned today. So this is very versatile and will integrate across all different types of platforms. So now we're on to number 4 on my list, and this is something called Godaddy Bookkeping. This is a company that I hate. I hate GoDaddy, but their bookkeeping software is solid. It's $10 a month for this software, but when it comes to organizing your finances in a way that is super easy to follow and gives you trends, it gives you tax documents, it gives you reports based on month-to-month income and quarters and all this fancy stuff that some will need more than others. At the end of the day, it saves you time and it saves you money. So $10 a month is a small price to pay, even if that just saves you an hour or 2 per month throughout the year. That is going to go a long way, and it's going to save you a lot of time and frustration, especially USA-based people, when it comes to generating tax reports for your CPA, your certified public accountant. I think that's what it stands for, something like that. They will be able to take these reports and run with it. I'm going to give you a quick overview of this. So inside on the dashboard, you have a general profit and loss month by month. You have total profit for the year. You have total income for the year. You have total expenses for the year. If you track hours, you can actually track it through this, and it will automatically generate invoices. You can do invoices through this. It also gives you a full expense breakdown for your business. It gives you more tax notifications, all sorts of cool stuff on this page. It also ties into all your bank accounts, all your credit cards, so it automatically imports all your expenses into your account, and it integrates with PayPal and Stripe, which I mentioned earlier, and brings all your incomes automatically into here, so you're not manually entering any of your information. But then the cool part is in the taxes area. This is the one thing I wanted to show. If you go down to here, you can export this one thing right here, and it will make it extraordinarily easy for your CPA to do your taxes. It saves them time, which saves you money, which makes everyone's life easier at the end of the day. So GoDaddy Bookkeeping, I highly recommend this. I'm not a paid affiliate by any source. It's just the only one that I found at the price point that does what I want it to do. Number 5 on my list of really helpful tools that will give you an ROI is something called RescueTime. Now this app has a free version and it has a paid version. I used the free version for years. I've upgraded to the paid version just because I found it so insightful and so helpful. But this is an app that lives on your computer, and it installs it's on my laptop, it's on my desktop. It's not on mobile yet. They may be moving to that soon, which would be awesome. That's a little bit of a bummer, but it's not a deal breaker. And this watches everything you do. It's kind of creepy, but it tells you, it gives you a monthly, actually you can break it down however you want, but it gives you a report on how you're using your time. And you actually get a weekly email that says, this is how many hours you had for productive time. This is how many hours you had for unproductive time. And this is how it's changed compared to the previous week. So this has been really good to keep me on track to make sure I'm not starting to slide. So a couple things, if you look at this dashboard, I've logged 65 hours so far this month. That's 104 hours less than last month, but we're only halfway through the month, so that makes sense. Daily totals, daily patterns, how much I'm spending in each of these areas. I can see that, my peak, if you look at your peak hours, that tends to be, before 10 a.m. is mostly business. Then I get to kind of more of the design and composition towards the afternoon. And then later in the afternoon, this is just more distracting time for me typically. I'm kind of in a crunch mode right now as far as business, so I'm working a lot more than having fun. But if you look at, the cool thing is, let's go back to April 2018, 170 hours logged, same productivity score. They give you, they call it a pulse, but it's a score, 79%. 31% business, 52 hours. And if I go to the previous month, 78. So I'm pretty steady right now this year, but this is where it gets kind of powerful as you go to yearly and you can see the overall trends in your business throughout the year. So this year I've logged 750 hours. I have a 77% productivity pulse, as they call it. If you look at the chart, it's actually pretty good productive versus unproductive time, the red being bad down there. But we go to 2017. Now I've gone from a 79 productivity pulse to a 65, and this is some of the reason why. First of all, throughout the entire year, I logged 2,344 hours on any of my computers. You see a couple cool things that I think are really helpful for spotting patterns in my business. So I spent the first 6 weeks of the year traveling abroad. I was in Thailand and Cambodia for the first 6 weeks of the year. And as you see here, look how much unproductive time and how long it took me to get back to where I am typically. See, this is like a good place to be. This is a bad place to be. It took me another 3 months to build my momentum back up that I lost from that trip. And then I hit another period of burnout during the summertime. So this tells me two things. First of all, I can't go for 6 weeks without working again. That takes too much momentum away from me. So if I do another trip, I either have to work while I'm traveling to keep up my momentum and my desire to work, or I have to do shorter trips, 3 to 4 weeks tops, because I just lose too much momentum. The second thing I noticed is, around June, as I'm starting to get back into my flow, I hit a point of burnout, which makes me do this super inefficient burnout mode where I'm not getting much productivity done. So now this year, what I've done is in June, I have a shorter trip scheduled in June that allows me to get away, recharge, and hopefully I'll avoid that late summer burnout that I had last year. So really cool. All this is done automatically. I don't have to do any of this stuff manually, but the insights you get from this are invaluable, especially when we start looking at trends over time. If we look back here at 2016, you see that same stupid burnout mode in the middle of summer and then another one in the fall time. So seeing these kinds of things I think are very important to making sure you're spotting these negative trends and then stopping them before they start by changing your habits up or changing your routines up to keep this kind of stuff from happening. Again, this kind of stuff you can spot with the free account, 100% free. You don't have to pay for it. There's just a couple extra things you get from the paid account. And then also you're getting weekly reports. So you don't even have to check this account. You don't have to go to your dashboard. You're just getting weekly emails to keep you on track. Number 6 on my list of tools for your studio is a site called Wix.com. This is a website builder. I've talked about it in the past. I've talked about it on the 6-Figure Home Studio podcast. And I have an entire course that shows you how to walk through this. It's a free course you can get to by going to recordingstudiowebsite.com. But I wanted to show you a couple things here. First of all, let me just show you my studio's website that I built in Wix. And I'm not going to, the terminology is based on my genre. Don't say this sort of stuff on your website if you don't work with heavy music. But this is my studio's website. It's very easy to build. It has my portfolio. It has a quote request form. It has a little bit about me, and people can fill this out and potentially work with me if I choose to work with them. Couple things about this is to edit your site, to build your site, everything is extraordinarily simple to use. If I go into the editor here, I'll just show you a quick behind the scenes here. Everything in here is completely drag and drop. You can move things around. You can resize stuff. You can change the font sizes. You can move the buttons around. You can do whatever you want with this. I'm going to undo all this. I don't want to save it. And you can add your portfolio to everything. All of this is really easy to use, really easy to organize and make it look the way you want it. And even my site doesn't even look fantastic. You can definitely make this look a lot better. You can add animations. You can do little things like shadows. You can change the style of the button. But this is Wix. I've built my entire studio's website on there. I use WordPress for the 6figurehomestudio.com because I need a little bit more power for that. For the vast majority of recording studio websites, Wix is the easiest tool to use, and it's the one I fully support. Again, if you want to see how I built this site, I have an entire course that walks you through how to build a site identical to this. Just go to recordingstudiowebsite.com and you can sign up for that free course. Number 7 on my list of tools for your studio that will give you an ROI is something called Google Analytics. Once you have a website built, the next thing you should be doing is setting up a Google Analytics account. I'm not going to walk you through how to do that. There's plenty of tutorials online. Just know this is something you need. And I'm going to give you a quick rundown of my own site. This is 456 Recordings traffic information for the last, 3-4 years? Last 4 years, actually. You can see any trends you're having. I had a pretty good time around the middle of 2015, another peak around there. But overall, through the years, I've been fairly steady, I'd say. So one of the big reasons you want this hooked onto your website is to know where, if you're not getting clients, what's the problem? Are people not coming to your website at all? This will tell you. Are people coming to your website, but they're not converting to quote requests, or not calling your phone number, or not trying to book a meeting, or whatever your call to action is? If they're not taking the action you want them to take, or even booking studio time, if they're not doing the thing you want them to do on your site, this will tell you. Next, you can see what language the people speak that come to your site. You can also see the location of all the people that come to your site. What country are they from? So you see most of my people are from the United States, a lot are from Russia, United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, Germany. No real surprises there for me except for Russia, but I think Russia has a tendency for sending spam traffic to websites, so I don't really trust the Russian thing. Next on the list is you can see where your people are coming from. This is another huge thing. For me, my biggest source of traffic has been organic search and direct. And if you have organic search and direct as your main sources of traffic, that means one thing and one thing, almost always one thing. That means that you have a good word of mouth client base going for you. So let me kind of paint the picture here. The reason I get organic search here is not because people are typing in Recording Studio Nashville or Metal Recording Studio or whatever. They're typing in 456 Recordings. So they're typing in Brian Hood Studio. They're looking specifically for me. I know that because I can see the search data behind how people are finding me through organic search. Second of all, if people go directly to my site, just typing in 456recordings.com, that means someone said, hey, go to this website, or I told them, hey, go to this website. So that's a good sign of a good, healthy recording studio. Second of all, if you have a lot of referral traffic, people sending traffic to you, you can see where that's coming from. So there may be sources of traffic you didn't know you had, and you can start trying to foster those relationships from those people that are referring traffic to you in an effort to get more traffic coming to you. Next is behavior. You can see a couple really important things about behavior on your website. A few of those things is average time on page, number of page views, your bounce rate. All of these things are great indications of the health of your website or the effectiveness of your website. So first and foremost, time on page. Are people doing anything on your website when they hit your page? And if there's a high time on page, that means they're listening through your portfolio. They may be reading a little bit about you. They're taking time to fill out your quote form. 4 minutes is great. Bounce rate, generally you want to see below 50%. That's the number of people that are coming to your site, taking no action, and then just leaving. But in my case, because I am a very small niche and also because I probably get a lot of traffic that's unqualified, 88% is not unnormal. What you really want to know is the total percentage of people who come to your site that take that action you want them to take, and then of those people that take that action, how many of them actually convert to customers. So this is all done through Google Analytics, and there's so many other things you can do in here. You can look by week, by day, by month. You can really dig into this data, but this is a saying that I heard a long time ago. Now I say it all the time. I didn't come up with this, but what gets measured gets managed. Or another way of saying it is what doesn't get measured doesn't get managed. So if you're not measuring all of this data, if you're not looking at all this data continuously, there's no way you can change to have a more effective website. So Google Analytics, very helpful tool, and a tool that I think anyone with a website should have. And if you have a studio, you should have a website, which means you should have Google Analytics. Number 8 on my list of tools is a tool called Calendly. Now, this one is awesome for those of you who like to schedule things, especially for people booking studio time. Let me just give you a very quick rundown of things you can do with this. First of all, it ties in with your calendar. That is a really cool thing if you have things that are already on your calendar. Let's just say you put a personal lunch meeting or a personal trip or something, and you block out time on your calendar. It'll automatically update your Calendly account so that no one can book that time or those dates on your calendar. That's the first cool thing. You don't have to continuously update it inside of Calendly. It's updated for you based on your personal calendar, either Google Calendar or Apple Calendar. Second of all, people can pay for specific times they're booking. So let's just say you have some hours people can book, and in order to book those hours, they have to pay inside of Calendly. If you sign up for Stripe, which is one of the tools I talked about earlier, you can hook that into Calendly and you can accept payments to book out time on your schedule. This is super easy for anyone to use, and all you have to do is send them a link. So a great example of this is for people that want to book a lunch with me through the Six Figure Home Studio. If they're in town, I'll just send them a link, and all they have to do is choose a time that's that's on that calendar, and it'll automatically block the time out on my calendar. It'll automatically block the time out on their calendar, and it'll automatically send both of us reminders so we don't forget about it. If you have someone booking studio time with you, you want them to first pay for that. Second, not forget that studio time. And third, you want it to be added to both of your calendars, which is very critical for anything to really work as far as the systems go. So let's just take a look at this. If someone goes to a link that you send them, this is for a 60-minute block of time, a 60-minute meeting or coffee or lunch or even an hour of studio time. And then this is going to sync with my calendar. So if they click, let's just say Wednesday, May 23rd, they can pick a time that works for them, hit confirm, and then they enter their name and email. If I were taking payments, they would also enter their payment information here and then hit scheduled event. Gets added to my calendar. Really simple to use because you don't have to do any back and forth. The one thing that sucks more than anything is phone tag or calendar tag, meaning like, hey, can you do a lunch meeting tomorrow at noon? Oh no, I have a meeting already. Or no, I'm going to be out of town. How's Thursday for you? Oh no, Thursday doesn't work. How about next Friday? Well, no, Friday doesn't work for me. Instead of going back and forth, just send someone a damn link, and all you have to do is choose the time that works for them, and you know it works for you because this is already synced with your calendar. So Calendly is cool, and it's something that I think most of you, if not all of you, could make some use of for your studio. Number 9 on my list of tools is actually the rare hardware recommendation. I almost never recommend hardware when it comes to recording studios because most hardware, when you get past the base level of gear, most hardware doesn't really have much of an ROI, at least not one that you can easily track. This piece of hardware definitely has an ROI attached to it because this is something that will save you time in the studio. So just a quick rundown of how you can use this. You can basically program any key press that you want to any of these keys on here, or any combination of keys, or any specific set of key strokes in a row. So quick example, one thing that I like to do is set anything up on my keyboard so I never have to take my hand off the mouse and I never have to lift my hand off the left side of the keyboard. So a quick example of this is the delete key. Now the delete key is something that when you're working and you have to hit the delete key, you either have to take your hand off the mouse to hit it, or you have to take your left hand off the other side of the keyboard and hit it. And that slows you down. It's not a lot, but it's a little bit, and you have to do it a lot. So over time, it really adds up. And so all I have to do is set the delete key to where it's on the, let's just say the bottom right of this keyboard down here. And all I have to do is tap it with my pinky. And now I never have to lift my hand up. And there's all sorts of ways you can do this where you can quickly reach over with your left hand and tap a key instead of going over to the right side of your keyboard. Now, this is really helpful in Pro Tools where you don't have custom shortcuts, so you can't build out your shortcuts to work for your workflow. Instead, you can set whatever keystrokes you want to this keyboard. Now, let me give you an example of the actual macro keys that you can set up. And this is a combination of keys that you can press in a row, and you just hit one key and it does all those things in a row. One of the examples that I use, I'm gonna use a Pro Tools example here, so forgive me if you're on another DAW, but if I want to highlight all unused regions in Pro Tools, I think it's like Command-Shift-U or something like that. I don't even remember how to do it anymore. And it'll highlight all unused regions. And then I want to clear that, I then have to hit like Option-Shift or Command-Shift-B, I think, something like that. And then I have to hit Enter to say, okay, I want to clear these. And I do this several times a day, maybe even twice an hour when I'm doing drum editing. This is all done with one key press. You just type in the keystrokes you want with how much of a delay you want between the keystrokes, and I can hit one key and it'll automatically select all unused regions, it'll automatically delete all unused regions, and then automatically hit Enter to confirm that. There's a million other things I use this for, but that's just one example of a series of button presses in a row that you can set to one keystroke on this thing. And only you will know the best way to use this, because there's always things that you do on the keyboard that is either really inefficient from an ergonomic standpoint or really inefficient from how many times you have to do it in a row or all these keys. Figure something out with this, but I really highly encourage you to buy this. It's $145 on Amazon, but if it even saves you 10 to 15 seconds per hour or day over a long period of time, this will give you an ROI on your time. Pretty much anything like this that saves you a lot of time or a little bit of time over the rest of your career is something that I can highly recommend. So check this out. Think of really cool ways that you can use this. Maybe I'll make another video down the road where I'll talk about how I use this. Number 10 on my list of tools for your studio that will give you an ROI is Close.io. This is the URL and this is the company name. This is a CRM, a customer relationship management software. There's a free version of this that if you want to, this is expensive. If you want to go to HubSpot.com, there's a CRM that they have that's free with some limitations, but I'm going to cover Close.io because that's the one I use. Think about this, and I want to show you a quick overview of how I use this. Think about how an interaction goes with you and a client. someone asks you for your rates, you send out a proposal, a high-class proposal like I talked about earlier, and then they kind of fall off the map, and then you kind of forget about it, and then you lose the project because you never follow it up. This is what happens to most projects, and this is what happened to me for years until I started using Close.io. So here's how it happens now. Someone contacts you for a price. It comes through your quote request form on your website, and now we're in Close.io. So let's just say Creed has contacted me for an album mix. And I tell them that it's gonna be $5,000 for that album mix. So now let's just say, to keep things as clear as possible, I can now create an opportunity in here. I sent them a proposal, a high-class proposal for $5,000, and I think it's gonna be closed. Let's just say they're gonna go into the studio around June. So I'm gonna put mid-June in here, and I can say that it's a 10-song album mix, $5,000, and I hit save. And the proposal has been sent. This is an active deal or opportunity, as they call it. And now I've sent the proposal out, and I want to set a reminder to follow up in 1 week. And all I have to do is hit save. And now this task is going to be in my inbox in 1 week so that I never forget to follow up with this person. Any emails that they send me, this is, by the way, I use my personal email, so this is why it has a bunch of gibberish in here. But any emails we exchange are in this timeline in chronological view. So I can refer back to old emails, to current emails, and I can use all sorts of templates and stuff. But here's let me just show you really quick one key feature. If you go to, I'm just going to set this for today. If I go into my inbox now, I have a reminder in here to follow up with Creed. So now today, let's just say I go in here and I am going to follow up. I'm just going to reply and I send follow up one right here. Hey, Scott, just want to follow up with you, make sure you got my last email or that you got my proposal. I can edit this however I want. This is sent from my administrative assistant because my administrative assistant in here is the one that does this. I hit send. And then I can hit check to remind me to follow up if no reply in 1 week. I hit send, and now I don't have to do anything else. There is always a constant reminder for me to follow up with this project. Now, if they reply, that'll show up in my inbox too. And inside of my inbox, there will be an email that shows up in there. And now that I followed up, I hit check mark, right? It's done. And this is just one of the super quick overviews for a CRM. Maybe in the future, I'll do a more in-depth view of this, but CRMs are very good to help you stay on top of every single project. As you get 15, 20, 30 quotes or 20, 30 proposals you're sending out every single month, there is absolutely no way you can manually keep up with this stuff. This is a system you can use to help you automatically keep up with all of your emails for your business. And finally, last, but definitely not the least of the tools on my 11 tools for your studio that gives you an ROI, this is a tool called Zapier or Zapier, however you want to pronounce it. This is the most complex tool on this list. And I'm not going to read all this for you, but I encourage you to go to this website and read through all of this stuff because there's more than I could ever explain here. But just a quick rundown of this. Think about this. There are many pieces of software that you can use for your business. The least of which, I mean, I just told you 10 other ones besides this, but few of those pieces of software will ever actually talk to each other. All that to say, there's different pieces of software in the world and some don't talk to each other. Zapier is one that is a middleman, a translator that will take information from one piece of software and pass it off to another piece of software. And I'm going to give you a couple quick examples of how this could work for you. Let's just say you sign up for Calendly and Close.io, right? The CRM. If someone calls you through Close.io and you don't answer the phone, or someone calls you through Google Voice and you don't answer the phone, then you can have Zapier automatically text them with a link that says, hey, sorry I missed your call. If you'd like to schedule a call with me, click this link. So someone calls you and you can automatically text them instead of relying on a voicemail or relying on them to answer when you call back. If you're super busy and you're not on the phone all the time, it can automatically text. You can get Zapier to automatically text for you a link in Calendly for them to sign up for a scheduled meeting with you. This is just one of a million different variations. Another one would be if you sign up for Wix, well, their forms on Wix do not pass data over to your CRM, your customer relationship management software. So you can use Zapier to tie in the contact form information that you get from them to go through Zapier into Close.io so it automatically imports everything for you so you don't have to manually do that. Again, it integrates with thousands of different apps, and there are all sorts of things called triggers and actions. When something happens, then do this. Again, I encourage you to go in depth with this. I will definitely have to make another video about Zapier in the future, but this is a good kind of big picture of just letting you know that this exists. And really, for all of these software that I'm covering here, none of these are really in depth. This video went way longer than I thought it would, but I still only scratched the surface for a lot of these pieces of software. So go through this list and really see which of these work for you. Again, this is an advice buffet, but do not let this overwhelm you. There's a lot of software in here. There's a lot of possibilities. Again, just pick the few that work for you. If you want links to all of these tools along with 40 other resources that I think are my favorite tools for the studio, for your business, you can just go to resourceguide.studio. That is the URL. I'm going to send you a PDF called The Profitable Producer Ultimate Resource Guide. And that will be a list of 50 resources that are similar to this or other versions of this. And it'll include links to the stuff I just talked about. You can go to that URL. Again, it's resourceguide.studio. And you can sign up and I'll send you a PDF with a ton of different resources like this. Again, you probably don't even know a lot of these exist because no one really talks about this stuff. I'm trying to change the game at the Six Figure Home Studio. Again, if you like this video and you want more like it, just hit the subscribe button. I'll be coming out with more videos like this in the future. Until next time, happy hustling and have a good day.